Hey friends, welcome back to my YouTube channel. All of my favorite queer movies just so happen to be available on Canopy, making Canopy the queerest streaming service. If you don't know what Canopy is, it's a streaming service that is probably available to you through your local public library. I know selections on Canopy may vary, based on your library. So if you don't happen to have Canopy, you can just look for these movies on other streaming services or borrow the DVD itself from the library if it's available to you, or what have you. With that, I will get into my recommendations. I'm just gonna start with my very favorite. The Watermelon Woman follows a young Black lesbian filmmaker as she kind of investigates the mysterious identity of this Black female actor that appears in a lot of 1930s films, and is only listed in the credits as the Watermelon Woman. While the main character is making her film about the Watermelon Woman, she's also just navigating life as a young lesbian in Philadelphia. My favorite thing about this movie is that even though it came out in 1996, there's something that just feels so modern about it. It's everything about it, honestly. The themes, the humor, even the fashion, I just feel it stays really current, even though it came out 30 plus years ago at this point. And while we're talking about the fashion, I truly love the fashion in this movie, especially the little details, the jewelry that the characters wear. I think Io Debris on her Letterboxd review was why wasn't this made into an HBO series? And I wholeheartedly agree, because at the end of the movie, you just feel really endeared to the characters, and you want to spend more time with them. I mean, it's a pretty short movie. It's less than 90 minutes. The next movie I have to recommend is called God's Own Country. This movie is about a young gay man living in Yorkshire, England, and he's very trapped by his circumstances working on his family farm, and he's just not thriving. He has some pretty unhealthy coping mechanisms, namely drinking and meaningless sex. Their farm takes on a migrant worker from Romania, and this kind of just challenges the main character's viewpoint on a lot of things, and they start to develop a relationship. When this movie opens up, it seems it's gonna be kind of a brutal watch, between how down in the dumps the main character is feeling, and even the very stark landscape, and just the cycle of life and death that you experience on the farm. But then there's some really tender moments in this movie, and I don't know, it's just kind of become a comfort watch for me over the last few years. The next movie I have to recommend is Portrait of a Lady on Fire. This is a period film about a female artist who gets commissioned to paint a wedding portrait of a young lady on a really remote island. Yeah, lesbian things happen from there. The relationship between these two women is one of the most intense, emotionally intense relationships I've seen portrayed on film. The emotional connection and desire between them is palpable through the film. The next movie I have to recommend is also a period piece. This is Maurice, which is actually an adaptation of E.M. Forster's novel. This film follows two young boys as they grow into men in school, and they kind of have a budding friendship and intimacy. Both of them are kind of questioning their sexuality and their desire for one another within the really conservative confines of Edwardian society. The ending just really sticks with you. I think that this is a really good adaptation of the book. I've also read the book, and I just really like what the film did, stylistically, with the timeline and bringing to life the emotions from page to screen. It's another 90s lesbian film. I feel like, honestly, lesbian film peaked in the 90s. Like, there's just so many good ones from that time period. This one is called Go Fish. This is like part essay, part film, and at the center there's this kind of like slow burn romance between Max, who's a young lesbian that was kind of like set up with this other woman named Eli, set up by Max's friends. The like love and attraction grow between Max and Eli. It felt like very realistic that they were kind of like running into each other at like various parties or get-togethers, and that their interest in one another kind of like grew from those interactions. The other thing I really loved about this film was the role that the friend group plays in the romance. That just like adds like a really dynamic element to the film. So yeah, those were the films that I wanted to recommend. I actually have two that I wanted to share that are on my watch list that are also available on Canopy. The first one is called Rafiki, and this is about two girls who are from families that are political rivals, and they form a friendship and support one of each other and eventually fall in love. The political rival element of it kind of gives me Romeo and Juliet vibes, but I'm hoping that this doesn't have like a tragic ending, because I can't deal with that right now. But I have heard great things about this film, and it's been on my watch list for a while, so I should probably get to it. The other movie that's on my watch list is called The Way He Looks. This is about a young boy who is wanting to escape his town and his kind of like overbearing mother by enrolling in a study abroad exchange student program. But then he meets another boy, and their friendship and relationship kind of like changes what he thought his plans would be. These are genuinely just like a fraction of the queer movies available on Canopy. I highly recommend, if you have access to Canopy, to just like scroll through there and watch some films, because there's some like hidden gems of queer cinema on there. Let me know if you've watched any of these films, or if any of them sound interesting to you, or if you have any recommendations of your own. I'm always looking for more movies to watch. And yeah, that's it. See ya.